I've asked real-life scouts from around the world to recommend their favourite Wonderkids, and we're going to check them out in Football Manager to see how they compare and see whether they'd be good signings for your save. Now, all of these scouts are legitimate. There's 5 scouts in this video, some of which are even in the game of Football Manager, which is crazy. So a big thank you to them for helping out with the video. We'll shout them all out as we go. But with that being said, let's get into the first scouts picks. First up, we have Jacek Kulik, who, as you can see, is a scout in the world of Football Manager. You might know him as Football Talent Scout on Twitter, or F Talent Scout is the username, and he's generously given us 3 picks to take a look at in this video. But the first player that was recommended by Football Talent Scout is Andrija Maksimovic, who is on loan from Red Star Belgrade by the looks of it to Grafisar, which are a team out in Serbia. He's valued at about £2 million when you start your save, and actually, for a 16-year-old, does have a lot of talent. I don't know about the ins and outs of potential of all of these players in this list, but he's a central midfielder who can play slightly further forward, seems to be good in the creative aspects as well as goal scoring too. Now, he is on a youth contract, so you can actually go ahead in the world of Football Manager and approach to sign him straight away, meaning you'll just have to pay a compensation fee to his club to get him in, but he's definitely one to put a scout report on. Looks like a very good promising talent, so the first pick is definitely a success. Now, F Talent Scout's next pick was Mohamed Harmony, who is a Moroccan winger. Now, Harmony here is a good player in game. It doesn't look like Football Manager have rated him super highly, but he's a pretty technically gifted winger who's got some nice physical attributes, and with some growth could definitely be quite dangerous with that good first touch. His finishing and dribbling, if they have a little bit of work, will soon be at 10s and 11s, which are certainly workable attributes. Is he going to start for Man City straight away? Probably not, but he does look like a decent player. And the final player recommended by Football Talent Scout isn't actually in FM yet, but I think he might be coming in the winter update. I wouldn't be surprised, at least, with a very high potential as well. It's Konstantinios Karetsas, who I believe is a Belgian, being compared to Eden Hazard quite a lot. I've seen some clips of him online, and he looks like a very big talent. Definitely one to keep your eyes on when the winter update rolls around. But that's F Talent Scout. Check him out on all his socials. All of the Scout socials will be listed in the comments down below. Thank you for your picks, and now let's move on to Scout number 2. Before we do see the next Scout recommendations though, I want to ask you guys to do me a huge favour and smash the like button on the video to try and help it in the YouTube algorithm. To be honest, this is a different video to what I normally do, and I have no idea whether this is going to work or not, so please do let me know if it's something you've enjoyed by hitting that like button and subscribing if you haven't already. And if you have any other ideas like this, comment them down below and I can try and give it a go in a future video. Now, these picks come from Alex Scout RO, who is a specialist in the subject of Romanian youngsters. He's got a Twitter account that you can see on screen, and he also has a YouTube channel, which I'll link down below, where he has some clips of certain Romanian youngsters, but he gave us some picks for this video. Now, he is actually in Football Manager, but he didn't want us to show him in game because he does want to go under the radar a little bit. But the first pick that he has given us is Ion Vermason, who is a young Romanian striker, as I say, a specialist in Romanian youngsters, who is playing for Hellas Verona out in the Italian divisions. Now, the 16-year-old forward can be signed for a few £100,000. Again, is on a youth contract, so you can go out and approach to sign him. It will be interesting to see how he develops in real life and if his potential begins to grow over the next few years in Football Manager. But at this stage, he doesn't look like the world's best player in game, but still a very interesting pick to start off with. One recommendation that does look great in FM though is Alexandru Musu here, number 99 for his current club, but he is currently on loan from FC SB out in the Romanian divisions, and he is a big talent, able to play on both wings or as a central midfielder. Very technically gifted by the looks of it, with some nice pace and acceleration, agility too. I've just checked his potential in this particular save, and it looks like he actually has the potential to go on to be a pretty talented young winger. He's got some nice flair, he can create a chance with good passing, vision and technique. He's also got good dribbling, crossing, corners and first touch, a very good wing option who's going to cut in on his right foot, so maybe as an inverted winger on that left hand side he could do a good job. No idea whether that's actually his best position in real life, but that's a great second pick. Perhaps my favourite pick from Alex Scout RO though is Andrea Borza, a Romanian under-21 international left back at only the age of 17, playing for Rapid Bucuresti as a breakthrough prospect, but I don't think he'll be that for long, because for only a few million, this guy is already a top level left back when it comes to the attributes that you would want. He's got a great base set here to build up from, and with a little bit of growth, he could become a top player. And I have checked his potential using the editor, and in this save at least, he could go on to be one of the most notable left backs in the world of football. So this guy is definitely a name to remember and one of the first ones from his picks that's really been represented well in FM. And the final pick we're looking at from Alex Scout RO is Rare's Pop from UTA Arad, a team out in Romania. Again, an under-21 international at the age of 18, can play on that right wing, but likes to cut inside on his stronger left foot, at least according to Football Manager. I'm sure the scouts will know more than I do. But according to the game at least, he's got some nice pace, agility, and he's going to be the kind of player that loves to beat a man with 12 dribbling. He's also got good crossing ability, first touch, and finishing. Great technique and passing as well. He's going to cost you a couple million, but I've just checked his potential, and in-game he could go on to be a decent standard Premier League player for sure. In real life, he might even go further than those heights that we've predicted here, but who knows? There are the picks from Alex Scout RO, so that's Scout 2 down. Let's move on to our third scout. Our next picks come from Sasha, known as Football Scout R on Twitter, and he's given us some great talents from across the world. His first recommendation is Sergei Volkov here, who's a Russian right back who, according to the game, can also play a bunch of other positions here as well. At the time FM24 was released, he's got 3 under-21 caps and looks like a very promising player. More pricey than some of the others, but for about 4 million quid here, you are going to get a very talented right back option. He's good physically, very quick with nice work rate, good defensive ability, and can also be pretty handy going forward, although it does seem he does prefer the defensive side to the game. Now, I can't say I'm well versed in every single player in the world, but he isn't someone that I've heard of, so to me, this is a very good first recommendation. But his next pick is Niko Sigur, who is a central midfielder, Croatian under-21 international at the age of 19, who's playing for Hajduk Split. Now, you don't often see many young players in FM at least who have box-to-box midfielder as their best role. It's a very specialised role, but it does look like Niko here fits the bill with nice work rate, good passing ability, as well as being able to throw in a tackle. He can hit a long shot, and in terms of a 19-year-old, his mental attributes are very well balanced here, and even though he's maybe not the world's best player in game, he's only going to cost you, by the looks of it, about 150,000 for a very talented young option. Obviously, like I say, I've got no idea how good this guy is in real life, but in game, he's a good talent, and I think when he reaches his potential, you'll be looking at a championship level player at his best, maybe even lower level Premier League with the right kind of growth. We've got 2 more picks from this scout yet though. The next one is Yegor Prutsev, who's a 20-year-old Russian player, and at the age of 20 he looks like a promising number 10, able to score goals from midfield potentially and also create chances too, with some nice mental and physical attributes. To be honest, for a 20-year-old in game, he doesn't quite look like the best player ever. I did get a lot of messages from these scouts though saying that they don't particularly agree with how some of these players look like in Football Manager, but that's Prutsev. The next pick though definitely looks promising, and I almost feel like this has been picked as a joke for me to try and purposely butcher this guy's name. I'm going to give this my best shot though. It's Abosbek Feyzulayev, who's a Uzbekistanian international, 19 years of age, playing for CSKA Moscow, and he's only going to cost you about 700 or 800,000, and that's actually a pretty decent price for this player because already at the age of 19 he's technically very gifted with great dribbling and technique, some nice mental attributes as well as some good passing, first touch and crossing ability, and whilst his physicals aren't the world's best, he's got some nice agility and pace, and that's going to grow a lot in the next few years in your FM save. He's 5'6" and he likes to try tricks with the ball with his 14 flair, and I've just had a look and he does have some pretty good potential in game. Again, a Premier League level talent at full growth, I would say, if he gets given the chance to shine, so definitely one to keep an eye out in real life. But that's the third scout down. Let's move on to our fourth scout. Now these picks come from Aussie Scout on Twitter, whose username is Scout_Aussie. Now if you didn't guess, he is a specialist in Australian youngsters, and his first pick was Nestoroy Irakunda, who of course in real life is very well thought of, and I believe now has a move lined up to join Bayern Munich. He's playing for Adelaide United. I've seen some clips of him. He can hit a football harder than most people can, and he's only 17. Wanted by Premier League clubs here in this save. A top level player in Football Manager with great attributes to boot. Physicals are there. He's very quick. He's good mentally as well with some nice flair and some very, very good technical ability too. The Australian is one of the most promising youngsters in his nation in real life and also in game, and as far as recommendations go, he's definitely one to check out in your FM save. Now Aussie Scout did point out that he felt a lot of the Australian youngsters in FM are done quite harshly, but even saying that, his next pick does actually look pretty good. This is Johnny Yule, who's playing for Adelaide United yet again, and he's going to cost you about £500,000. At the age of 18, is he world class just yet? Not necessarily. He's a good dribbler with great first touch and some nice technical attributes, and whilst he isn't the best physically just yet, that will hopefully fill out in the next couple of years in your FM save, and if you don't want to sign him straight away, he's supposedly available for loan from Adelaide, so definitely one to take a look at. Obviously not rated as highly as Irankunda in game, but another good pick from our Aussie scout. And the final one clearly hasn't been rated very highly in FM at all. This is Amlani Tatu, who again is playing for Adelaide, can be picked up for a few £1,000s, and actually you can go straight ahead and offer him a contract as he is only on a youth deal. Maybe not the best player in FM, but according to Scout_Aussie, he's a very bright player for the future. It'll be interesting in a few years to compare what FM thought of him, compare what our scout thought of him, and see which one got it right. And our final scout is a specialist in Danish young talents. This is Danish Scout _ over on Twitter. His first pick is the brother of Rasmus Højlund and a very promising talent in game. This is Oscar Højlund, a central midfielder, also playing for Copenhagen, where of course his brother was. For about £1 million, you get a well-rounded midfielder who can offer something in terms of goal scoring and also chance creation. He can dribble past the man with good first touch, technically very gifted, but that doesn't mean that physically and mentally he is weak, not at all. At the age of 18, he's got great attributes in those areas and definitely looks like a bright talent in both FM and real life, and if he can follow in his brother's footsteps, he's got a mega move coming sometime soon. His next pick is obviously very well thought of because Bayern Munich have already splashed over £1 million on him. This is 17-year-old Jonathan Asp-Jensen, who was playing for Midtjylland out in Denmark, recently signed by the German Giants. He's a central midfielder just like Højlund that we just looked at, and at the age of 17 for about £1 million, you are looking at a very, very talented player. For a 17-year-old, his attributes are top draw really. Great technically, really good mentals and physicals as well for a player of his age, and they're only going to get better as time goes on. Bayern have obviously found a gem, and I imagine in most of your saves he won't quite make it at Bayern, making him potentially an available option. He is available for loan as well straight away in your first season. A very good pick here who's very well represented in Football Manager. But the final pick from our Danish scout was going to be Patrick Dorgu, who's very well talked about in real life currently and in FM is genuinely, if not the best left back wonderkid, one of 2 or 3 that could potentially contend for that title this year. 18 years of age, playing for Lech out in Serie A and wanted by some of the biggest Serie A clubs. You can see why. Great ability physically, and I mean great ability for only an 18-year-old who's good going forward and pretty good defensively too, although definitely going forward is his strongest aspect of his game. Great mental attributes as well with nice work rate. In terms of the modern day fullback that's going to get forward and create chances as opposed to just being defensively minded, Dorgu is one of the best with great potential in the world of FM. So there you go, that's some recommendations from 5 real life scouts. If you want to see a follow up to this video with more scouts, do let us know. Thank you to everyone involved in making this video something a little bit different. Hopefully you have enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you have, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.